All right, we are live on YouTube. I'm just waiting on the video to connect on my other monitor over here so that I can grab that link and put it inside of our free business mastermind group so that our members can join us here conveniently and easily on YouTube live for the show. All right, let's see. It has connected. Let me grab this link. Uh-oh, what is that doing? Okay, now let me grab the link. Okay, let me put this in the group. Let's post it up. Let that cycle through. All right, let's make sure I can see the live chat. So when y'all over here talking on the YouTube side, I can see it. All right, we can get started. All right. Welcome to the Her First Six Figures morning show. That is an interactive coaching and training experience, Lord, I can't even talk this morning. Experience as a part of our free business mastermind group. That is to position Black and brown female online service-based entrepreneurs to generate your first six figures by learning how to make the money and create time freedom. Now, this week's blog is at shaycannon.com/structures with an S. So that's shaycannon.com/structures. Because what we're talking about this week is operational structure for increased revenue. And I want you to start off by thinking about if your business was a corporate entity, you would have different departments, right? And you need structure for each of those departments. Well, we may not be big enough to have departments with a bunch of people in them, but we still need to look at them as at least areas of our business, okay? And what we need to do is create structure around these areas. Now, we talked about structuring around what really is like our administrative area, but it's admin and support tasks. Okay. So if you need to know how to create structure around your administrative area, and I even gave you 10 things to think about creating structure for the area of your business, you need to go back to part one. That was on Monday. So catch that replay. Okay. Part two was about optimizing your marketing area. Okay. So if you need to structure around your marketing area, I gave you 10 things you definitely need to have structured in that area. That's going to be part two. Catch that replay from Tuesday. The next area was your sales department or your sales area. We need structure around it. Well, what structure? Because some of y'all don't even have a sales process, so let alone sales structure, right? Well, go back to yesterday's replay. That was part three. And I gave you 10 things around sales that you need to have structured in your business to be making more money. Now, we're going to end this series today with part four. And this is going to be about know your money, know your numbers to grow your revenue. Okay. So let's talk money. Before ignoring it, first of all, because ignoring it does not make the stress go away. A lot of us just try to make the money. We don't want to look at the numbers. We don't want to see if we in debt. We don't want to see if the bill's getting paid. You cannot ignore it, okay? Just because you're not looking at it don't mean it's not there. So your business is not just about doing what you love or the parts that you love. It is about being profitable. Okay. And yet so many of us avoid looking at our finances until something go wrong. So, you know, the moment when Stripe notifications are quiet, your card is getting declined for your little subscriptions. You have no clue what happened, what's going on, when you're going to be able to catch up, how far behind you are. Okay. Let me just talk about that for a minute, because in the blog, I said not because you're irresponsible. But I'm gonna go ahead and say you are, okay? You really are irresponsible. But why? Because your money has no structure guiding it, okay? So you are guessing instead of projecting. You're reacting instead of planning. So when you do not have a clear grip on what is coming in, money coming in, and what is going out, your revenue goals become wishful thinking instead of calculated moves. Now, we need clarity around our numbers in our business. And it's not just about spreadsheets. It's about confidence, control, and building a business that actually can pay you and actually fund your freedom. All right. Now, that's what's in the blog. Y'all know that's kind of general. We're talking about the numbers. Yes, you need to know your numbers. Yes, that's why. But let's get into some details. Let's get into this, what we do more of on the morning show. So I have 10 strategies of structure you need to be creating around money in your business. Okay. Money. This is your finance area, your finance department. How are we going to structure it? Especially for us solopreneurs or small businesses, and you don't have a CPA, you don't have an accountant looking at your stuff. Hey, we need to get started with a foundation of some sort for this money. All right. Now, the first one is going to be know your monthly minimum operation costs. Okay. What is the minimum amount it takes to keep your business afloat? So you need to identify how much it takes just to quote unquote keep the lights on in your business. This is your baseline for the revenue that you're bringing in, so that you know, are you even breaking even? Okay. We ain't even at profit yet. Are you even breaking even? Do you know how much you need to have to pay all the expenses to run your business? Now, let me tell you something. I have 3 levels of operating costs. I have the bare bones, like if I was losing, hemorrhaging money and I need to get rid of some stuff, I know exactly what I need to whittle my expenses down to have a skeleton of expenses to still be able to run my business. Okay. So I know what my skeleton expenses are, the lowest keeping the lights on expenses. I know what my current expenses are, all the things I'm paying for, and what they're supposed to be doing for my business. Why am I paying for it? And then I have something that we're going to talk about deeper later on. But then I have, like, what are the expenses for the next version of my business or the next scalable step of my business? We're going to talk about that more. But I have those 3 levels of operating costs documented. The skeleton expenses that keep the lights on and I can still function, the normal expenses that is my everyday right now, and then what am I going to incur as expenses for the next level of growth for my business? All right. Cool beans. Number 2, align payment schedules with your revenue cycles. Okay. Some of y'all just be signing up for stuff. You're not paying attention to when that's gonna come out of your account. You're not paying attention to when you usually get money during the month, and so your stuff may be skewed. You might have a month that's feast to famine every month, all because you don't align your expenses being withdrawn out of your accounts when money is gonna come in. That is a key thing that we need to do, and it'll probably save you a lot of heartache and some extra fees, is what I'm going to say. Because when you sign up for stuff, most likely the day that you sign up is going to be the day that it gets withdrawn from your account every month. So if you know you have a mortgage coming out on the 1st and you don't need to be top heavy in the month with your expenses because that mortgage is coming out on the 1st, why are you signing up for stuff on the 1st of the month? Just to have it top heavy, when you know you will have more expendable income or more income to go towards other bills on the second half of the month. So be conscious of when you're signing up for stuff. All right. Number 3, use a budget that looks ahead, not just behind. So don't just track what happened in your business when you're capturing your numbers. Okay. We also want to be able to forecast. This is the main reason why we want to know our numbers when we're talking about growth. We want to be able to forecast. So don't just track what happened. Use what happened to be able to predict what will happen. So if I look at last year's numbers, right, and I look at every month, I should be able to identify and forecast for this year when we're going to have some great months and when we might have some low months, right? So when you're looking at your numbers, it's not just about the here and now. It's about being able to forecast so that we know on the month last year when we had low expenses, we kind of figure out what that is. And maybe we put an extra promotion on that month. Maybe we do an extra sale that month. Maybe we do an extra sales event that month, so that we take that month that was low last year and we make it high this year as a forecast because we're doing something different. All right. Number 4, track revenue by offer. We have a main offer, but we have all these other offers, right? We got down sales, we got up sales, we got cross sales, we got trip wires, right? How much money are you making on each offer? Not just in your business, Because see, some of y'all are putting a lot of time and energy around an offer that's not even your most profitable offer. So the question becomes, why is that the main offer? So we look at all the offers and maybe we adjust, but you can't do that if you're not tracking revenue by offer. Okay. So not just your full business. We need to track it by offer because maybe it's time to get a different kind of downsell. Maybe it's time to have a different kind of upsell. Maybe it's time to switch the main offer from that middle of the road offer to maybe you selling more of the high ticket offer than you are the low ticket offer. So that might need to be the one that you talk about the most. But you don't know that unless you track revenue by offer. Number 5, set revenue goals based on what's really going on in your business and not just vibes. Okay, so this is kind of some of that forecasting again, but break down how much money you want to make by offer. So we tracked it by offer, but what are your goals for your revenue by offer? And we talked yesterday about having, different prices for one offer. Well, you're going to have a different revenue goal based on, is this the regular price? Is this the promotion discount price? Or is this the lowest discount price? Because see, how much you're able to make on all of them may not be the same because the price is different. So how much you bring in would be different. So what are your revenue goals by offer? So that now maybe we know we need to sell more of these to hit the overall revenue goal for the year. So when we check in the quarter and we say, hey, we didn't really meet our revenue goals for quarter 1. So in quarter 2, maybe we need to sell more of the high ticket offer to kind of even out the money we didn't make in quarter 1. So have some goals per offer. Number 6, create a money map. Okay, create a money map. Use some spreadsheets. You can use pie charts. I don't care what you want to use, but I want you to start creating a money map so that you have a visual of how much money you need to be bringing in. These forecasts and these projections, I need you to have a map. How are we getting there? Okay, so we can take, if we've tracked the offer if we've tracked revenue by offer, then we know how much we're bringing in for different offers. Now we can kind of create a money map that tells us, hey, in this month we're going to bring in this from this offer, this from this offer, and this from this offer. And now we're tracking by month based on what is it that we're bringing in. Also on the map, we go ahead and add those goals. So then we can go back and we can decide, okay, what worked and what didn't work. All right. So I love a visual. Some of y'all love vision boards. Create a vision board for your money. Okay. What does the revenue need to look like? What do the goals need to look like? Create a vision board for that. But I like a money map for that portion of it. We're going to come back to the vision board. All right. Number 7, track lead sources to revenue outcome. Okay. We do a lot to get leads in. We do a lot to get leads in, but do you know what's working? Right? So we talked about some platforms you need to be on socially, but which ones are working? That's really getting you leads that actually end up being qualified leads that pay you. Because see, that's what's going to tell us where we should be putting our energy. A lot of us do strategic partnerships. Well, did it work? Did you actually bring in leads from that? Did those leads actually end up buying anything from you? Because if you're not doing podcasts right, then start spending time doing podcasts. If you are doing virtual summits and all this kind of stuff and you don't end up getting in leads and then being able to convert those leads, then stop doing that. If you're putting a lot of effort into that for the purpose of bringing in money. There are other reasons to do that, but then how much time are you investing in if you're not getting money out? Okay. So that was track your money by lead source. Number 8, schedule weekly finance reviews. Weekly. At least weekly. If you like me, I go look at my stuff daily. But at least weekly, you need to be going in there and looking. What does that profit loss look like weekly? Go in there and look and see what's going on. Okay. Some of y'all would catch some of them subscriptions you've been giving money to for 2 years and ain't used the thing yet. If you look at your money by the week, you'd be like, wait, what's this coming out? You would look at it, you would catch it. Now, along with this weekly review, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, set up real-time alerts for your accounts so that you can see when money is coming in and so that you can see when money is going out. Okay. Set up some alerts. I'm going to tell you that because I pay attention to all of my alerts, I can skip some days looking at my account because I've kind of accumulated in my head what has happened just from the alerts alone. Now, let me give y'all another key. Some of you have campaigns going on, sales campaigns going on, where people have to sign up for something or pay for something from your cart. But do you have it set up to where every time somebody buys something from you, it sends you a notification? Because all that is a real-time alert of when you got money coming in. So if it's not on the bank account itself, it could be set up within the sales cart or the sales campaign that you got going on. Anything that you get from me that you got to sign up from, you best believe it's sending me an email. So I know when money is coming in. You need to set that up. All right, number 9, set income benchmarks every month. So we have our monthly goals, right? But what we understand is sometimes we don't meet monthly goals because months aren't set up the same. Again, you might have a low season and a high season. So we need to be benchmarking this stuff. So assign monthly revenue targets so that you track progress, but adjust it. Okay, we need to be understanding real time when stuff is happening, not at the end of the year. It's kind of too late then. So real time, we need to see, did we hit the goal? If not, how are we adjusting? Okay. All of that is a 1-2 step thing, and we need to be doing that monthly. All right. Number 10, assign your money a purpose. Let me tell you how, especially the way that I live, in the places that I live, where it doesn't take a lot of US dollar to live very comfortably. I just have never been the type of person that felt like I had to have a lot of money to be happy. That's not what my happiness is based on, because I understand that money is a tool. However, it was Jamal Miller, a religious figure, influencer, that he's not necessarily a pastor as much as he is at helping people find their wife or their mate, or helping couples stay together type of thing. Jamal Miller. I was at a TSP conference and Jamal Miller said, a lot of you don't hit high revenue goals because you don't have a purpose for your money. And I thought about that and I was like, you know what? He kind of right. Because past what I need to live, past what I need to be comfortable, past adding to my lifestyle, I didn't really have goals that needed big money. But when I started finding bigger purposes that my business could fulfill, that needed more funding. See, when you start thinking bigger, bigger needs more funding, bigger funding. And that's when I found out that, oh, okay. See, when you expand your purpose, you're going to need to fund that expanded purpose. And that's going to make you look at money a little differently. So assign your money a purpose. When you exceed your revenue goals, what is the plan for that money? See, a lot of us have these goals, and then when we get it, we don't know what to do with the money. We don't always have a purpose for it or an assignment for that money. So start thinking, what investments are needed to help my business to grow? If I'm bringing in excess of money, what's the next level of investment for my business? If I'm bringing in extra money, at what point do I spend more on my lifestyle? Okay, if I'm bringing in more money, where do I need to be before I start helping other people financially or gifting other people financially? So you need to know, when you start hitting these goals, what is the assignment for the money beyond those goals? That's what I mean by your money needs a purpose. All right. So we are going to start with Dr. LaFera. The question of the day. Yes. Which of these financial operational tasks to structure you need to structure to position you to make more money? And I'm going to throw it over here on the YouTube side too. Kimberly has joined us on the YouTube side. Okay. So Kimberly, you can put yours in the YouTube comments. Now let me go back through the 10 with all of the extra as a reminder. Number 1, know your monthly minimum of operational costs. Number 2, align your payment schedules with your revenue cycles. Number 3, use a budget that looks ahead, not just a budget for now. Number 4, track revenue by offer. Number 5, set revenue goals by offer. Number 6, create some kind of visual money map for you to follow your money. Okay. Number 7, track revenue by lead source, LEAD source. Okay. Number 8, schedule a weekly finance review. Number 9, set income benchmarks for every month. Number 10, assign your money a purpose. All right, Dr. LaFera, which of these financial operational tasks do you need to structure to position you to make more money?
So I'm going to say, I don't know
I
what
feel like
number
that
it
was a full
is.
5 minutes, Dr. LaFera. What the hell?
I'm getting ready for work. Thank you.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
my phone was in my purse. I found it. Thank you. Now, I'm gonna say that um I need to, and I have been working on setting the revenues by offer. So I like that one. I don't remember what number that was.
Oh, it's, the number is not as important as you remembering what the thing is, what the strategy is.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Shay.
Of course, of course. But yes, yeah, we often forget to be tracking revenue by offer. That was number 4. But it comes in handy when we start thinking about, do we need a more offer? If do we need another offer, a new offer? Is the offer working? You don't know if you're not tracking the revenue by offer. All right, let's go to Dr. Latoya. Dr. Latoya, which of these financial operational tasks do you need to structure to position you to make more money?
I think I like how you talked about tracking your monthly expense. Well, having like the bare bones, like what you need at bare bones, what you need at next level. Like I really, really like that. And so I think that just getting a really clear picture on what's necessary.
Yes.
Yep.
And the thing that makes entrepreneurship hard is that our revenue tends to ebb and flow. Like we don't know, like we can't make people buy from us, right? So sometimes that we ebb and then we flow. So we might make a lot this and then not a lot, and then we might stay down to not a lot for a few months. You need to know what is the skeleton crew for them expenses, so that you can immediately turn off them expenses that don't have to be for you to move forward and still make money. Because we need to keep an eye on that. And that's a part of what makes entrepreneurship scary for so many people. They feel like they can't forecast revenue and what happens when they go from feast to famine. Well, you better have a feast budget and a famine budget. That's what need to happen. So yeah, I agree with you, Dr. Latoya. All right, let's go to Dr. Tachi. Which of these financial operational tasks do you need to structure to position you to make more money?
Track revenue by offer,
Mm-hmm.
and then that will lead into the money map. I so love this idea of a map of money.
Me too. It really helped me to put together, like, even when I look at my past workshops, like how do I need to now start promoting those as pre-recorded replays, and how do I stretch that across a year, or which ones do I need to release each quarter? That's a part of my money map. So I can see what's coming in, what's going out, what are my goals, what needs to be the purpose of stuff, all of that. I try to find a visual representation of that. So I love that for you. All right, let's go to Dr. Ayana. Which of these financial operational tasks do you need to structure to position you to make more money?
Hey, y'all, very good morning. I love all of these. There's about 4 of them that really resonated with me, but number 6 rang my bell for sure, and that's that money map, honey. I'm telling you, that one is a winner. I love that. So, yeah, I've got to get on top of that. Thank you for this.
No problem. You don't want to tell us about your other 3? We got time. We got time. Tell us about your other 3.
Yeah, I think that using a budget to forecast is important. That was number 3. Tracking the revenue by the offer. That's going to be very important. I haven't done that. Setting revenue goals by what's going on in the business. Just setting a goal blanketly is kind of how I've been operating, but setting it according to what's going on in the business, and considering the ebbs and flows as well. Number 5, and I guess number 1, kind of tag team together, and then finally assigning that money a purpose. That was pretty top tier as well. So
listen, that was deep for me when I heard it. It just hit me. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that purpose thing is serious. That's really kind of celestial. That gets into the spirit realm of your money, honey. when you
It
get
does.
past the basic needs, what you doing to go beyond and then to pour over into the lives of other people. Yes,
Yep.
sir. I like that
I
one.
know. I know, right? Amen. Amen. All right, let's go to Cheryl. Let's go to Cheryl. Cheryl, which of these financial operational tasks do you need to structure to position you to make more money?
Well, I do all of these,
Okay.
except I do the money map, the visual. Mine is
Mhm.
written. So when you said the visual, the first thing I thought was my vision book. I set up vision books for my, not just so that I can carry it with me wherever I go. If the
Mhm.
board is in the office and I'm not in the office, I
Mhm.
don't see my board. And that visualization, once we get that in the grooves in our mind, we're good to go. One of
Yes.
the other things that I do, so I will be doing that vision book thing. I think that's a brilliant,
Mhm.
the vision board. But the other thing that I do is you talk about, track lead sources to revenue income.
Yes.
I track revenue increase based on the classes, masterminds that I attend. If
Mhm.
I don't see any results from implementing these things, you don't
Mhm.
see me after a couple of months or so.
Yeah.
But so obviously, I've been here, I've been with you since Clubhouse. I see
Yeah.
results, and it's real, it's authentic. It's not that gimmick, flash in the pan kind of stuff. So,
Mhm.
thank you for being you. And thank you for this. Today was awesome because if we don't stay on top of our numbers, it doesn't matter what else we do.
All
And,
right.
a lot of these things I do on a daily basis. For instance, my routine in the morning when I get into work, I look at all
Mhm.
my bank accounts. Yeah, I did, just I got a system. So thank you, Shay. You, if nothing else, you gave me the confidence that I'm on track.
Cool beans. I love it. I ain't gonna lie to you and tell you I didn't when you said thank you for being you, baby. I heard the Go to Girls theme. I thank you for being a friend. And, I like the new version where he just be going up with the scale. Okay, let me stop playing. All right, so Keith is in the house, and Keith has put his in the studio chat. He said, I'm stingy with my money. However, I have to go with number one and number two. So number one was know your monthly minimum operational costs, and number three was use a budget that looks ahead, not just where you are. He said my revenue is low during the summer months and November, December. So I need to make adjustments, throw a template sale. Yeah. See, that's how it works, right? This is how we can forecast. So I do believe that a lot of entrepreneurs see forecasting and setting revenue goals and all that stuff as some kind of sorcery. Like they don't know how to connect that future thinking up with present day actions. And how you do it is you got to look and track stuff so that you can use data to predict, right? So they're so disassociated from it that they don't do it. And so what we have to understand is we can't optimize what we're not tracking. So that's how we do it. And he said he's gonna make some adjustments. So I love that for you, Keith. Yes. Yana, you finished it for me. Travel down the road and back again. Okay, so let's go over here on y'all. I was gonna say Yahoo, YouTube, because we got Kimberly over here, but we also got Shawana Kennedy Media is over here on YouTube. She's been missed. Welcome back. Kimberly said, big one for me is number 8. Also, what Dr. Latoya said, I'm not sure what number that is. I'm not sure what Dr. Latoya said. But number 8 is schedule a weekly finance review. Yeah, and don't forget to set them real-time alerts because that can help you with your finance review. Because sometimes I get alerts, and then when I go look at my weekly review, I don't see some stuff I know I got an alert for, and that can send me down a whole rabbit hole of why I get this alert if I don't see this reflected in my account. And so sometimes that's how I have caught a glitch in Stripe. That's how I've caught the fact that I got paid in PayPal and I forgot to go in PayPal and release the money to my account, right? So yeah, those I would say that marrying those real-time alerts with at least looking every week, good stuff, good stuff. Let's see what else we got on here. Of course, Shawana says she loves the money map. And big on purpose. Yeah, that's what Kimberly said. That she likes the purpose. And she said Shawana said, if we make our personal brands align with our personal purpose, everything will be clearer. Start operating from a better aware place. And then she said, miss you ladies, remember why and adjust your funds. That was cute. All right, Shawana, look at her coming on in here with a ministry hat on. All right, then. Okay, so this week, we have talked about operational structure for all that, for the main areas of your business. We talked about your administrative area. We talked about your marketing area. We talked about your sales area. And today we talked about your financial area. Does anybody have any questions about creating structure for the different areas in your business? That if you were a corporate entity, it would be a department. So think about the departments that the big businesses have. These are areas of your business that need attention and they need structure. So even if we didn't talk about one this week, pick an area and let's talk about it if you have a question. Anybody have a question about creating structure for these areas? Did anybody have a value add, something you want to give people a value, or an aha moment from this week? I still got Golden Girls in my head. Well, let's talk about these show notes, because not only in today's show notes will you get the 10 strategies around money that you need to create, I'm putting in here access to the Profit First book strategy. I mean, yeah, how do I want to say this? Let me just share my screen right quick. So what I'm going to say is, like, in the show notes, if you go down to the bottom what that information is, and let me see what it's showing. You're gonna see Profit First strategies. I mean, if I had the book, I would give it to you, but I mean, you're supposed to buy the book. So all I'm saying is, you got a little bonus in here. Is all I'm saying. So if you catch that hint, yeah, it's gonna be a link to that in the show notes for today. Because one of the things that we struggle with financially when we get a business is paying ourselves. Okay, paying ourselves. And so one thing that book did, because I used to ask CPAs, accountants, and all that, yeah, I'm bringing in this money and I got my expenses, but how do I pay myself? Nobody was really able to answer that question for me in a way that I can implement until I read Mike Michalowicz's book, okay? Profit First. And not only is he explaining how to pay yourself, what he's giving you is a whole different mindset that you need to pay yourself, okay? And so I love that. I've met Mike Michalowicz before. I've been a part of his other program that's came from one of his other books, Run Like Clockwork, because that's very operational. And so I know his partner over there, Adrienne Dorison. I love me some Mike Michalowicz. But this book changed the way I look at finances from a business point of view and how I'm able to pay myself, because that is huge. A lot of y'all have businesses that are not even sustainable in paying its own expenses, let alone know how to start thinking and doing things in a way where you start to pay yourself, not just the expenses of the business. So that book is a huge value add, I believe. And so I'm including a link to, some strategies associated with. Okay. So any questions before we move on? All righty then. So again, this is going to be one of those show notes that you want to get access to. So there's only two ways. Number one, you have to be inside of our free business mastermind group, and they live in the files section. All of our notes live in the files section. They do access expires. So make sure that if you're interested in notes, you go ahead and get them in a timely fashion. Okay. The second way to get them will be to sign up via email to get the notes and the entire morning show in your email inbox. Go to shaycannon.com/show, and you will get 2 emails every broadcast day. That's Monday through Thursday. And what you'll get an email in the morning that says, hey, hop on YouTube Live. We're live. Join us, right? And then in the afternoon, you'll get another email that has a link to the replay of the show and the link to the show notes. All right. And that access also has an expiration. So download your stuff timely. All right. because this stuff is good stuff. And what we have decided is in 2025, if you're not in our community, you're not in our free business mastermind group, then it should not be free to you. And so you guys get it first, you get it free, but after a time, it expires free to you and nobody else can get to it. They'll have to go and pay for it as a micro learning. Okay. So make sure you're getting this stuff timely. Now, if you want to find out more about me, your host, Shay Cannon, or about our highly valuable free business mastermind group, then check the description below for the link and more details. All right. Again, another great show, another great week of shows, but today's show, give us a thumbs up and like this episode. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss anything. Also, this was episode 4. Well, I shouldn't say episode 4. This was part 4 of a 4 video series. So make sure you check out the other videos. All right. I want you to have a great day. I want you to have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. Well, let me see. What's today? Today is the 15th. Yeah, Monday. I had to make sure that Monday wasn't Memorial Day because y'all know I'm not going to be on here on Memorial Day. But I'll see you Monday because Monday is the 19th. That's not a holiday. And with that, the studio is closing in 5.